Asia degree having a twin. When I be calling stuff out, I call all type of people out, not just one kind, right? And so I was in fact the individual that called out the fact that there's an individual walking the earth, and she looks like Asia. Yes, she looks just like Asia degree, somewhat completely, and yet not all the way. The eye color is different. Asia degree's eye color and this individual, they don't have the same color eyes, and yet it is in fact known. Yes, it is. As individuals get older, their eye colors are prone to change. Yes, you can. That's in fact a science. You can be a small child and then say your eye color is dark, and then as you get older, your eye color in fact lightens up or whatnot. That's in fact a real science. That's me. I said that how many times? That's for those that don't know about the shades. But yeah, so Asia degree does in fact have somebody, they look just alike, say as if if Asia herself being the age that she is today. See, because the age progression photos, they look so different for each child, each individual child. That photo right there in her in green looks different than the photo that was just shown. The photo looks completely the opposite. This photo, Asia much more older and much more mature, and that age progression photo does not look the same as the other photo that was just seen before, that photo that just played. Interesting. That too is to show you how looks change, as in where even police, FBI, whoever, right, where they try to see in the suspect of everything, right? FBI done flicker back up. Shouts out to FBI. But once again, because I just showed that off at the end of one of my other videos, how this young, yes, lady looks just like Asia degree. The name of the individual I'm speaking on, her name is Lynette, and yet once again, it's not Asia. Or could it be Asia? No, nobody knows. It's more likely not her. I keep sensing once again that Asia degree is dead and gone. Rest her soul in that. And yet I'm going to show you precisely of what I spoke about in the last video. Jolie Musa, one of my last videos, I showed that photo of how this individual looks just like Asia. It's fearful in a sense to see. I'm saying it was a slap to the face when I seen this individual. Yes, the young lady what I'm speaking on, she in fact appeared, yes, right here on YouTube, and she's a homeless individual. She's in fact homeless, as in she's living in her car and all the rest, right? And so if you've seen her, if you're not really aware, as in being able to open your eyes and see, because like I just said, people look at me and they be like, oh, you look like such and such. Do you know somebody named such and such, right? Do you know this person? Do you know that person, right? If Asia herself was still alive today in 2018, she would, matter of fact, this other individual, people will be walking up to her asking her if she knows that young lady named Lynette. I'm about to break out the photo. Should I break out the photo? I think I'm gonna break out the photo once again. That sort of thing, in fact, needs to be seen. As in a not take down on that. I had to, in fact, set the photos side by side just to try to make of what. I set these photos side by side myself with no hand of no FBI or nobody else. They look, you got to remember, when it comes to age progression photos, they're not completely precise. I just said that. I said that how many times? They can't be. Because see, the police, FBI, whoever, right, pertaining to, yes, there's a team that works with forensic science, all that all fits together, a puzzle piece that all goes together, right? And yet you can't be precise, because remember, you're leaving, they go off the visual of the child, such as in the Asia degree missing photographs or whatnot. They go with the nose, the mouth, the eyes, they go with all that, and they blend that in as well with the parents' features too, as in how you're gonna look as you progress getting older. They in fact use artifacts off the child's face, not just the child's face but the parents' faces as well, Because to know as you get older, genetics play a part of that. Genetics does not slow down, I don't think. No. The older you go and the older you grow, maturing and all that, is to say you're going to look somewhat slightly like your own parents in a way. Hell, in that first little bitty photo of Asia when she was little, she looks more and more like her mother every day. And I'm sure she was told that even when she was a baby before she went missing. She looked a lot like her mother in the photograph, right? And so, with me saying that, yeah, you gotta, in order to progress a child's photo, you gotta use the features of the parents, because that's only workable. Nothing else is gonna work with that. You can't just say, well, we'll just take from the child's eyes, lips, mouth, and nose and let that be that to try to figure out how she's going to look. No, that ain't gonna work. Because there's genes in that don't make work. That don't make sense. Because see, when I look at this photo, yes, she in fact does. I said these two. Didn't I just say that? I like to repeat. To work in mass media is to say how much it can go, and a repeating in the mouth. And so, I was going to say possibly phone, but I don't want to joke on this right here. With this, I could and I should, but I'm not, right? But I just want to get serious with this for a second, because something about these two individuals, I don't know. I was spooked all the way up. I was so spooked out looking at this, I ran in the other room screaming. I did, to my mama. And to my niece as well. You can ask my niece. When I said, look at it again. Because I couldn't bear to look at it myself when I looked at it, right? And I was trying to measure up the sit side. I couldn't even really look at it because Asia's face almost looked like it's looking into your soul. This age progression photo, that's how real it looks, right? Despite it not really being real. Because to say something was digitalized is to know that sort of thing was put together. Yes, in digital format, right? But it looks like it's looking through you. Look at Asia's face. If this would have been her face, it looks like it's almost piercing through your soul. It's looking all the way through you, right? But yeah, this young lady right here. This photo right here can never be precise. That's why every time you look at an age progression photo of Asia, it's not the same. It's always off. It's gonna always be off in some way. In some type of way, it's gonna be off, because you can't really do that. You can't have a human touch going in trying to reconstruct a child's face and them not being there and then just saying this is how they look precisely. That is a no-go. That doesn't happen. You just get there a little bit, as in a lead on that. Asia's face was a lead, and yet so is the parents. But the mouth, see, when you look at the teeth, there's a gap in the teeth. And I spoke about that in my last video. They have the same slight gap. I'm getting dizzy looking at this. I don't know why. I get dizzy looking at, I do. I in fact get, when I look at some of these children photos, but Asia degrees, I don't know why. I think because I can sense and believe there's no life there in the child, right? But it's just something about the photo. I don't know. It's the angle or something. It just makes me real dizzy or something. I don't know. Because I'll be thinking that did whoever killed her have her foaming in the mouth or something? I can read into photos is what I'm trying to say, which is why sometimes I get angry and bitter in that. As in how they kill people and lay them to rest in their own way, right? And then they allow you to go back and try to clean up the mess pertaining to what has happened to them. I get angry. People see this anger all the time. Hell, they see it on Twitter, because I be in disbelief, even sometimes on the end of God. Like, God, how could you allow this sort of thing to happen to a child? That's right for me to question. But this is this gap right here. She has the gap in the age progression photo, as well as she has the gap. Now, in this photo, they made her smiling, because as people get older, things in fact expand. And they're going to expand in the way, once again, pertaining to the genes of the mother and the father. A mixture of the both, right? and possibly eye color with that, because just because one parent has one eye color don't mean that the next parent has the same eye color. And yet in this photo, the eyes, you see right here, it looks darker compared to the eyes in this photo. I don't know why, I feel some type of way every time I go into this child's face. It does something to me is what I'm trying to say. It gives me not only a Grim Reaper type of feel, right? It does something to me. It does. My dog is laying right there next to me. But it bothers me. It bothers me. Why not? I mean, why not be honest in that? When I get real mad and angry and disgusted, right? Because I be bothered. It's not only purely my mouth, but I just get real agitated at some people. Sometimes, hell, some people's parents. Some parents be having to do something with their child going up missing and being dead. Didn't I say that before? And a person like me, I just go off. I can't help it. Maybe I need to go back to church myself and get delivered. Who knows? But yeah, so the lips are the same, right? And so if she goes, okay, so her lips is more pulled back, right? See that when she smiles, her teeth are more showed and exposed, and she has that gap. But if she was to do the same thing, her lips will do the same thing. Because see, look how the flatness of the lips, that's what tells. And we don't know where Asia is. We sure don't, right? I'm just saying. But when she does her full smile, her lips in fact pull back to let you recognize that teeth are there. And yet when this young individual herself, when she goes to smile, her lips are going to pull back as well. And the lips are in fact both flat. Pay attention to that. They're completely flat. But not only that, there is in fact the dimple. See this? You gotta look in. As in zoom in all the way if you need to. This child in fact had a dimple. She had it in her baby photo up above that I just showed you, right? But there's a protruding dimple. It's slight. I got a slight dimple as well, right? Somewhat. You wouldn't really say that it's a dimple. Some people call it something else, right? But that's there, as in that's telling and it's pronounced, right? That dimple, look at that. And then when you go in on her face, the same thing. It's the same dimple type of thing. When you go to her nose, the nose and the age progression photo could slightly be on or it could slightly be off, right? I'm saying this could be in fact how Asia herself would have looked in 2018. Or possibly even more different than that, because the more, remember, the further you grow and evolve, the more the face, yes, things are going to change. Her nose looks slightly different, but when you go back again to the age progression photo, this once again is not completely precise in the age. But not only that, when I speak on this individual, once again, her name is Lynette and she lives in her car. I said that how many times, right? She's homeless out in California and she lives in her car, right? She served in the military. Yes, she did. She in fact served in the military or whatnot, and her grandparents, pertaining to them dying and all that other stuff, right? But she's in fact drugged out. And that's not to call her out. That's not in fact to call her out in case she sees this. People have access to go all across the net and seeing stuff, right? But yeah, she's in fact on a specific type of drug, as in she zones in and out because pertaining to what she served in wartime. To serve in the military and see stuff, right? And be exposed to stuff that the human mind sometimes can't see and possibly crack in that is to want to take a substance while you're in, yes, coming out of the military in order to deal, because even PTSD plays a part in that. the mind, where it separates, as in pertaining to what it's seen during wartime, and then when it comes back, hit the scene, dropping back into America, and that you haven't been fully you haven't been fully rehabilitated to come back home to America after you done served time over there, say in a war or anything like that. This individual that has taken place with her, right? That is in fact her background and her story, right? She has t-shirts and all the rest, memorabilia pertaining to her serving in the military, right? Yeah, and so her eyes, you can tell the droopiness of the eyes pertaining to the drug usage, right? And yet the drugs pertaining to, they're going to slightly, make your eyes droop. Some drugs, in fact, alter the eye color itself. Some people don't know that. The harder the drug, sometimes it in fact change the eye color. And that's not your intention when you're using it. No, you're just using it to zone out. But usually when you're zoning out with it, it's altering certain things as you're going along with that. And so her eye color, it looked like it was more dark black, like a darker tint, or almost leading up to blackness, right? Fully her eye color. But with her using what she does, yeah, you can tell where it's done been faded out to a more brownish color. And then right here, that will be more yellow. And yet when you look at her eyes, they look like Asia Degree's eyes. That is just so telling in itself. It's telling is what I'm trying to say. How much twins, the twin aspect. I just want to use her for an example. In case you walk outside somewhere in the middle of the street and you say, oh my gosh, Asia Degree. I'm saying if you're out where she lives, out in California somewhere, not Asia, but this individual, right? And you say, oh, that's suspect right there. Could that be Asia? Let me go call police, FBI. No, more than likely it's Lynette. It's not her. Helps to pay attention in that, as in seeing who looks alike. So the thing that everything here, in fact, looks the same. There's bags up under each of their eyes, as you will see. The eyes. The eyes. Remember, this is not... Always consider the age progression. Go back to what I said, because I'm repeating, because people need to hear this. When you see something, sometimes it's going to be slightly off. The age progression, even the bags up under the eyes. They could be there today. They might not be there. It might be just a little bit. And yet this young lady, once again, Lynette, has those eyes. The bags up under the eyes. The nose being thicker, all that. But I always go for the dimple. The dimple, I always go for the chin. I go for the dimple right there as I pointed again. I'll also be looking for the chin. As in, how does it hang? Does it hang loose? Is it quite fitting? Does it draw you in? Say if you was to see this person walking out on the street and you say, oh my goodness, like I just said. Look at that. You see how her chin is just like her chin? And the dimple goes with it. You can also look at the level of the ears with the eyes as well. You want to look out for that too. How close in measurement is the person's eyes away from their ears? That tells too. That's going to be telling as well. The thing, once again, when I was saying it, the lines, see right here, if she goes smile, when this young lady goes to smile, she's gonna smile just like Asia Degree in this photo. I kid you not, hand before God, as God is the witness. When this young lady right here go to smile, she's going to smile just like Asia Degree. That is in fact a science. It's called telling the truth. No unresolved in that, let me tell you. As in, what's a possibility to happen? Once it happens, I'm saying, right? And so, these markings, I like to call them crest marks. Because, see, to know you brush your teeth with some crest or something. as a no, you're going to smile, and yet once you're smiling, there's going to be some markings right here. These are the same markings as they are appearing right here. The thing that's different more than anything I've been trying to get to, and yet I keep cutting myself off with that. When I keep saying the thing that makes it different, the thing that makes them look different, the thing that makes them look different is in fact the eyebrows. But remember, Asia's eyebrows in fact look thicker in this photo because they're untouched, as in when the artist made this up digitally. To format a photo based off a child's photo and put the parents' genes in with that is to say you might in fact have thicker eyebrows, or maybe thinner, who knows, right? And yet these are thick. There's no cutting in that, as in a makeup artist or anything else coming along and say, well, let me tweak your eyebrows. Some parents in fact do that to their children as well. I spoke about that in my last video, Jolie Musa, pertaining to the mother possibly inspired Jolie to get her eyebrows done and all that. Feminine women in fact inspire that sort of thing, right? That could have in fact been Asia Degree's mother, the older Asia would have gotten, right? And yet in this photo that's not going to be there because it's unnatural in a sense. It's completely unnatural, right? Do what you do, right? But in this type of scene or deal, that is not going to fit. You want to go with what is like this, natural. And so that's the difference between this photo and this photo. Their eyebrows, in fact, rest in the same area. The approximity, I'm saying. The approximity marking pertaining to the individual of the eyebrows being spaced apart. See how far away her eyebrows are spaced and hers, but the difference once again is her eyebrows are arched. I just rewinded back on you. Yeah, and the mind trick and even that. Her eyebrows are arched. That's why her eyebrows don't look like this, and that yet if they were fully not arched, say if they were untouched and not arched, she would more than likely look completely like Asia Degree. Completely. There's no umbrella in that. Possibly not even a car. I don't know. I don't even know. There's no umbrella in that. I had to repeat it so that you can hear. There's completely no umbrella in that. None. All I'm trying to say is this is not the same lady, and yet it could be. I already said that. Helps to not be timid in that either, as in what you see, and call out. Possibly in the middle of the night. You don't know. Ain't no rat race in that either. But yet, so the eyebrows. This woman's eyebrows are completely arched all the way up. Somebody went in all the way on her face is what I'm trying to say. That is in fact funny, and yet it is, right? She wanted all her stuff gone. She more than likely does this. Lynette, that's her name. Lynette, she possibly more than likely does it all herself, because to know that you don't have enough funds to pay, and then you're living in and out of your car and all that other stuff. She has her own story. Yes, she does, right? And so it's to know you may or may not could be able to afford that sort of thing. Eyebrows being done and all the rest, right? And so the head, when you think and look at that, how it look like it's almost stretched back more. Her forehead, how it look like it's more stretched back more. That makes you question what Asia Degree's forehead be stretched back even more. That in fact makes you question that. Because see, when you say, well, I can hear it right now coming. Well, you know, she looks more older than her. Right? Well, you would have to ask, well, when was she seen right here? Not Asia Degree. When was Lynette seen right here? This individual, you would have to question, well, when was she seen? And what age was Asia in this photo right here? Because time is in fact passing, pertaining to the law. And seeing all type of individuals in traffic and all the rest, right? I'm saying, while you're out and all that, right? And so, pertaining to that, is to say, once again, drug usage. I'm not calling you out, dear Lynette, wherever you're at. Drug usage is going to make any individual look much more older as it advances you in the age stage, and even that, the age progression, and even that, such as an individual being of a particular age, and yet as they continue to go on in life and use drug, is going to, in fact, yes, speed up instead of slow down the age progression of an individual. That's why this individual looks much more older than, say, her. And she might, in fact, Lynette might, in fact, be much more older than Asia Degree. Lynette might, in fact, be much more older than Asia Degree. Don't ask me, because I don't even know. Don't ask me none of that, because I don't even know. I'm just dropping the line in that, right? And so, that's why. There's all type of people that are, in fact, on drugs, right? And me saying that they're going to look older. That's just a part of life, because to use a hard substance, a very hard street substance, in which this individual has used, and she fully stated all the drugs that she used. She came out her mouth and stated, right? Came out and said the drugs that she used, right? She was very specific and very honest, and even that. So to say that sort of thing is to say, pertaining to even that, it's going to show in your looks, as in your face. It has to come out, because remember, even drugs seep through the skin. That's the point. Drugs, in fact, seep through the skin. And when you're dead and gone and all that other stuff, and embalming fluid, some of that, in fact, leak through the skin as well. As in when you got to cover up all that other stuff. When people die and go to, funeral home and be embalmed and all that other stuff, the fluids that leak out in the bodily fluids. Drugs, being alive, and drug usage is the same way. It comes out, and it's not always the best. Sometimes people's teeth get to falling out and rotting and all that other stuff. But yeah, this person is going to look much more older. And yet you would have to guess what is her age and all that. You would, in fact, have to guess her age. But yes, the forehead, I already said that, how it looks more stretched out than, say, a Asia Degree. Once again, you don't even know how even Asia Degree's forehead might look. Because I got to go back to the opening pertaining to when a child gets older and she fully develops, everything expands with it, including the forehead. So more than likely, this right here, this forehead is not going to be the same. It's more than likely not going to be really the same. Like somebody might say, well, the skull, when you think about a child's skull, it either grows and expands, or maybe it doesn't. And so maybe that will have an effect on the forehead. Maybe or maybe not, right? Who knows? That's a science as well. That's called look it up, right? And so in me saying that, this forehead is going off the forehead up above in what you see. But if you or I was to go in our old photographs of us being in childhood, how much has our foreheads expanded? I want you to do that. Take a childhood photo of yours, set it side by side with an adult photo, and see and look how much your forehead has in fact expanded. To be inventive is to say. To be inventive is to say. That's all I'm trying to say pertaining to looking stuff up and doing stuff in your spare time, being resourceful in your spare time, putting it to use free time, and not just walking around watching celebrities unless they're putting money in your pocket or something. That's all I'm trying to say about that. Because at any time, trust and believe, at any time, Asia Degree, however old she will be right now, could in fact be walking amongst you and I in the public, and you may not even know it. As in, she could be right before your very eyes and you might not even know it. That's not a joke. That's a call out. I don't know who that individual is, so don't come over here screaming and shouting at me like we going to church. Hell, I'm going to church every time I get on this microphone and get to screaming on y'all. I don't know who Lynette is personally. If Lynette, Lynette shouts out to you wherever you're at, out in Cali. That's where she resides, out in Cali, in and out of her car, right? She got family out there. Her grandfather or whoever, father, uncle, one of the two, is in fact a judge. He works in the court system and all that. That's for those that's asking. I'm saying. But somebody gonna want to come ask me, well, what? How did you find her looking like her? 'Cause we all out here look the same. Matter of fact, last I heard, oh, Discovery, that's me. That's all me, player. Shouts out to a player. I'm trying to scare everybody off on every video that watch me, that can't take me, the fake fucks and all that. But it's been said all black folks look the same, and I'm guessing the more I look into this, and I have, you know what? Because see, this photo has in fact been sitting on my hard drive since June. The beginning of June. I think it was the June 1st or the end of May. But I seen this photo sooner. The photo in fact says June 1st on it. As in when I put that side by side. But I seen that, yes, sooner. Nowhere is this all across social media. Maybe it should be or maybe not. Because Lynette is one of her own person, and yet Asia Degree is one of her own person, and yet stuff like this bring you to life, as in the common sense of where to look when you're looking for people, even though they're not there. I'm saying to have awareness is what I'm trying to say. Pay attention. Dear public, and possibly the FBI and everything else. I don't know Lynette. I ain't never met Lynette. Hell, there's some people I do know, and yet I don't never even say. Let me tell you, pertaining to industry though. Yeah, but that is off the hook. Funny how we sitting staring at an animation like that. Asia Degree. How many times I done cried about it? I did. It ain't no bashful in that. The telling aspect of where I was crying and all shit and tears and all stressed out pertaining to Asia Degree being gone and possibly dead in that. Me all stressed out and crying, like that's a man. That is too much. You just be sometimes lost in hope so much. You just every time you see a person, well, I hope that's Asia. Oh, I hope that's such and such, you know. Oh, I hope that's such and such. You just be naming different people that done went missing, and you just want to keep hope alive in that. As in just hoping. Hoping Asia just pop up on the scene somewhere. That's more likely never gonna happen. Because we in the 18 years. Dear, shouts out to Finding Asia Degree blog. She out there somewhere. She gonna see this too. Hell, everybody might see it. You don't know. But yet, with Lynette, don't go stalking her. I'm saying the individual that I'm showing you. This is just an example. She's beautiful. And I had to say that too. Did I say that on Twitter or where was I? On Instagram? She's in fact beautiful. Just because she uses drugs or whatever, that part of she look. She is in fact a different character. Yes, I can go all the way around the corner and make excuses for even her for the simple fact she served the country, as in fighting, going there, and you're doing a useful thing, serving in a particular war, right? You got Desert Storm. You got Iraq going on. You got people that go over there, they serve their time and they do whatever their duty, thinking they're doing a good cause. And not only that, they want to be in on a particular military branch in which she served. You feel like you're doing right by society by that, right? But then when you realize that your mind can't take it and you get all cracked out and strung out in that because you can't come back, as in half of your mind missing pieces is still stuck over in war, right? That's not for me to make fully excuses for this woman, and yet she did try somewhat, as in doing a good deed, serving. Because to go to war, I'm saying pertaining to the drugs. I mean, not when I be calling out losers. I'm talking about losers that just use drugs just to be using them. As in strung out, cracked all the way out. And they ain't never did nothing to nothing, right? But some people, in fact, want to do a good deed to society, as in protecting their own country. to go over there and then not know what's going to be the end result, such as PTSD. She struggles with that completely. Every single day this woman has came out and said out her mouth, she struggles with that every single day of her life. Not being able to sleep and all that other stuff, tossing and turning, because remember, there's bombs and guns in that. Some people go to war and watch people's face and head be blown off and all that, right? So to escape that as in your mind, because see, sometimes people, they can't turn their mind off. I'm one of them type of individuals. I haven't never used drugs. I never used drugs or anything like that, but I have never even been to war either, right? And so you kind of feel some sympathy for even Lynette, as in what has happened in her world and her life pertaining to going, yes, serving in the military and going to war and all this other stuff. That sort of thing. You feel, because see, look, the woman didn't just go, let me go to serve in war and go on one term. People go and serve 2 terms. You need to go ask Lynette about that. That's why she can't deal with reality pertaining to, because see, I feel sympathy for Lynette on her end. So shouts out to you. Because my father served in Vietnam, and I know what that sort of thing is like, coming back and then you hear something like some fireworks, and before you know it, you're all stressed out, and then you got to go to the emergency room because you're having panic attack on top of panic attack, trying to deal with that, because everything that you done seen in war is now coming back. It's coming back to you in reality. That is so sad. And yet when she speaks on the camera, she's a highly intellectual, you can tell. Lynette, I'm saying, very, very highly intellectual. Yes, young lady. She's fluent in intellect is what I'm trying to say. It just, yeah, you can tell it's a tired aspect, and you can see it in her eyes, which is why her eyes is not, they're more, look at her eyes. It's more like a lifelessness in it. How you see somebody and it's almost like they look like they're almost somewhat brain dead, and yet they're not, right? That's not to say anything about her. That's that time of war in her eyes and her face. As in where she can't put that sort of thing behind her because it haunts her every day, right? She's haunted by her past. She's haunted, in fact, by the war in which she served and the terms that she served, being in military like that. Coming to her medical supplies and all that other stuff, how you be tied in with a branch with military and how you get stuff from them. They've helped her, and then sometimes military don't. It all depends on the situation. It's a lot with this on her end. She's suffering a lot in that, the military part of that, serving them terms like that. That was too little. It was a little bit too young, because see, many people go to high school, and once they come out of high school, right out of high school, they go straight into the military. Some people, in fact, have been drafted as enforced in that sort of thing, whether they wanted to go or not. They were just forced into it, made to go. And with her, it's so much to be said, like, about individuals. It's so much to be said about this young lady. I don't know. I can feel, it's how you can feel a person's spirit, because remember, we all spirit beings, right? And so with her, there's something about that. It's a charm right there. Kind of like how Asia Gree had that sweet charm or whatnot. It's so, that's what I'm saying about the twin level. The twin level. Interesting what you find, what you stumble up upon. And sometimes life, even though life is taken, right? But this young lady, I don't know, man. It's like a sweetness. Like when they call Asia Gree, yes, they call her the sweetheart of Shelby, right? Burke County, Shelby, right? This young individual right here has that same type of vibe, of the sweetheart vibe. The sweet, you can see through everything as when she talk. I watched for myself, as in just, yeah, sitting there when she talk, and her demeanor, and when she comes out and speak, and you can tell she might in fact have an angerness there, and yet it's settled. It's not like my anger, how my anger just come out and be all up in your face like that. She don't have that. It's like her sweetness is like a sweet vibe that is almost like a peach or something, like a peach scent, how you can smell it, a peach. That's like right in your face, a sweet aroma, or a pie or something. That's how this young individual talks when she talks. Now somebody can say, well, maybe she's being fake on a camera or something. It's like she's authentic or something. Because look, there's a time and a place to try to put on a false face, and during one of those times when you say sitting there talking with somebody or whatever, being on a camera, you would in fact want to put on and dress up in that being fake, right? Possibly so that you don't show everything. And yet, didn't I say before, realness have a tendency to crack through? Your realness is going to come out, and real people can read you on even that. And yet with her, it's something about that. Something about that, the spiritual magnetization of that, as in where somebody, they in fact draw you in or something because of the charm level aspect, or when she talks or something. It's like, I can't really specifically say it, but back to the military and possibly even her past or something, of where she's been hurt or scarred or something. Hurt. Yes, deeply hurt or scarred or something. Like, she can be a very caring individual when I look into the way how people, when they talk and stuff. You can see through. That's what I'm trying to say. You can see through people, and they don't even know that it's happening even when they talk, right? Some people have been scarred and they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, even if it's their own weight, right? And yet when they talk, you can tell that they go off somewhere and they alone time and cry or something like that. She seems like she's like one of those kinds. Which could be why she lives in and out of her car. Because to say that there's some issues, right? It's to say the particular drug that she gets on can possibly maybe lead her to be violent or something like that. Who knows? You can't really say, but something about her, I don't know. It's almost as if she don't want to turn to anybody. And the help, as in wanting to gain help and seek help, even in that, yeah. Other family members, even if they live out of state anywhere, even if they live far away anywhere, it's like she wants to be independent or something. And she wants to be left alone in that, as in trying to figure it out herself. That's what I see when I see this young lady. But yeah, that's not Asia, but you kind of wish that it was. So many individuals do. But yeah, to live homeless in your car is to never even say, as in not know. Because some people in fact run away from home or leave away from home or get somewhere and then end up stranded after they done left home and left out the house in the middle of the night and all that other stuff. Make their way into somebody's car somewhere, and then they out somewhere else in a whole different state, such as California. Nobody know where they are, and they a missing person, and then there you have, right? I'm thinking a dead body maybe, right? And then one day you wake up and look, and then next thing you know, you done found somebody or something, and yet you haven't. You just found somebody else that looked like them. That would be completely messed up. Because if Asia Degree was on drugs or something like that, and her being homeless, Lynette being homeless, and oh, that's what I was gonna say. How some people, when I was leading up to that, and I didn't finish, but people in fact run away, come up missing, go disappearing, and then a lot of times what they do is they go move to another state with somebody, or somebody take them and move them to another state, and then they go off and change their name into something else. People that ain't missing go do that sort of thing, go change their name or whatever, right? People do stuff like that. Who didn't know that? They in fact go off, move places, and change their name, change their identity, cut their hair, do all type of stuff so that they don't be found, because sometimes back at home the house is not pleasant in the first place. As in people's houses being pleasant where they come from, which is what make them want to change, that sort of thing, their identity and everything. As in them not wanting to go back home and return back home because things were happening, such as molestation, rape, possibly sex trafficking. You don't know. Things that go on in the four walls of people's houses. And why people leave out their house even in the middle of the night. People have their reasons, let me tell you that. But yeah, that ain't her, but I had to point that out. Just in case you didn't see, because anywhere online I haven't seen anybody post or say anything about, well, look at this, whatever individual looks like Asia Degree. Because me, I come up, trust and believe, I've been on the internet since 1995, 1996. I done seen it all. Didn't I say that? I've had web TV. I've had everything. I was somewhat of a spoiled child, right? Not by my mom, by my dad. But yeah, so I've seen it all. But I have yet to see anybody post this sort of type of thing. Some people be scared doing that, and yet I don't be. To see somebody that look like Asia Degree is to in fact stamp it, as in put the faces side by side and stamp it with the hashtag to FBI and let them figure it out, right? I'm saying that's what you want to do when you see somebody. You don't, I think people don't be forward enough and bold and standing out, getting things done, which is why many of them don't work nowhere in Hollywood or anywhere else. They don't stand out in this and this and that. They don't. You in fact want to be, when you see something like this, you in fact want to call that out, as in who looks like who. When they're missing, I'm saying the missing child level, you want to call that out, and call that out all the way, pertaining to what could add up or maybe not. And yet you're even taking a chance in that, and even saying, because I be seeing people and hearing people, and they be like, you know what, well, I was going to say, well, why didn't you? Because to not do is to be a lost loser in that, as in a failure. I call out what I see. And I have, which is why celebrities have wanted me in that way, and possibly more, in which I ain't telling. Hey, shouts out to me. Celebrities have wanted me because of my mouth. Didn't I say that before? Celebrities have wanted me because of my mouth and wanted to get close to me, but they don't want it all the way. Let me tell you that and that, because sometimes I can be too vocal even with them, as in what I say. I'm saying I recognize pertaining to what your title and your label is, and yet I'm still going to speak my mind to any celebrity. I don't care who it is. They can have millions of followers or billions of followers. But that's why they want me, because my mouth. And I don't mean sexual, but possibly that too. I'm speaking on branding and all that other stuff, and how I do stuff, right? Because yeah, how I do things. My foot is hurting. Oh, went to sleep. I was gonna say Bigfoot, but I'll leave that alone. But yeah, I wanted to place that there so you could, I wanted to place that face there to let it sit, so that even you, the viewer, could scope out her face. If you wanted to make the pause go all on that, as in pause it and look at it and stare at it for a little bit, is to figure it out yourself. I'm saying figure it out. Multiply 2 times 2 equals 13. Figure it out. That's funny, yet it is, right? But shoot, that is spooky. That is completely spooky. Because see, I can see the touch up on it, as in the photo, the digital aspect of the photo. I can see the touch up in all of this pertaining to the head. Even if you go on the age progression, Asia's photo when she was little, and yeah, the head aspect, the expansion. I like to see what has expanded and what has not. What done drooped and what done came forward in that. What done took a stand. What done took a sit down. Elderly people, when they get older and they face droop and all the rest, right? And titties too. Titties that too. Dear Janet Jackson, that's a joke. But yeah, to see what's drooping and what ain't, what's hanging loose. That is off the hook. Because to even go any closer than that is to say even their neck is the same. The neck, I'm saying. My gosh. I know I be freaking people out with stuff when I be saying stuff and calling stuff out and featuring this and putting this here and there. I know I be freaking people out. They tell me. That's a wide awake on that in the kinship. Yeah, I think that's all to be said. Man. That is completely. Cause see in the faces that anytime you go in on somebody's face as in looking into to see, besides the forehead, the difference in forehead, I said stuff expand. But besides all that, you want to look for the crease marks. Crease marks. People, they don't pay attention enough because see, on Lynette's eyes, Lynette has creases. Yes, creases right up above her eyelid. Lynette has a crease right above both eyelids. Yes, she does. But on Asia Degree face, there are in fact creases right above both eyelids. You see what I'm saying? Pay attention in that. Dear a fallen angel, that will be both dead and alive. Yes, I do think Asia is dead. I said that. Dear both fallen angels, that will be the dead figure as well as the alive figure. Because to know that she's struggling at deep, to know that Lynette is struggling as deep as she is, that is to in fact say that's a fallen angel, falling soldier, and that. Fallen angel. I had that right. Falling angel. Because you don't know even when Lynette is going to die in drugs. And yet the only thing you can do if you believe in God or the universe is issue a prayer in that. On her end. As in the addiction process. Because she needs something to keep going, right? And I do wish that she would get off of drugs, as in not keeping the falling into that sort of thing, right? But you be trying to figure out what else could she use in sobriety with that, as in to deal with reality despite the war still being there embedded in the back of her mind. What else can this young individual use in order to escape the war? Because if you or I have not been through that, this situation is completely different from a crackhead situation. It has to be. Because see, look, a crackhead might have been raped and molested, right? That's not to downplay that and me sit in a rape molestation side by side with some wartime. That is in fact brutal, as in highly traumatic to be raped and molested, and yet bombs going off and guns and all that's a little bit, that takes it up a notch. And besides that, you don't know who she could have been possibly raped by while she was serving in the military, because that happens to women as well. The being taken advantage of other soldiers that are in fact males. Males, grown men getting on top of women serving in the military because she don't look like him or whatever, just to take the power away from her. Women have in fact served in military and war and have been raped. So you don't know what is in that as well. But you would wish some sobriety in that. As in her getting off of drugs, or trying to figure out a way for her to get off of drugs so that she can deal with reality like so many of us. And yet her mind is divided because what has happened with those bombs and shooting and ammunition and all, that's too much. And yet her spirit, there's something about the woman's spirit that is calm and sweet. Not sweetness like all these other fake chicks out here, these fake hoes out here, not that type of sweetness. It's a aura or something that pierces through. I don't know. I think that's all to be said about that. That is messed up. That is messed up. I wish the military can figure out something. They got programs and stuff to help you come all the way back from war, and yet it's not enough. It's not enough. Because see, some of these individuals that done served in war, like the net, they get the shaking and all that other stuff, anxiety, and then you something goes off like a noise or explosion or something crazy, and then before you know it, they in the bathroom somewhere hiding, trying to hide behind the toilet somewhere or something. And you can't get them out, and then when you go to pull them out, they all crying in tears, balled up like babies in tears and all. It's like they revert back to childhood. It's a painful thing to see. And so you would be thinking, how could you rehabilitate somebody's mind back from all that? So that's Lynette, so that you know. Whoever's asking. This video I'm about to upload. I think that's all to be said for now. It is. It completely is. So, should I end out with Discovery? You're asking me that? I usually do, don't I? End out in Discovery. Let me end up. I wasn't going to end it out in this way, and maybe I should. Because I have a first, second, and third. And I don't mean grade. But that is to come specific. So, we are in fact on Discovery.com. I in fact work for Discovery. Shouts out to Team Discovery. That's my logo right up above there, as well as my wristband. You seen Discovery Communications, also known as Discovery Inc. I'm one of representatives of Discovery, just so you know. And did I say like, subscribe in the Discovery channel? That as well. Like, subscribe in the Discovery channel. Yes, the Discovery channel. The link is in fact provided below. I don't think I said that in the beginning of this video, because I wasn't going to even make this video. And then I was like, nah, let me just make one. Let me stamp this. We got all type of TV shows for you, those that is interested in watching and seeing what's going on. Last week was completely Shark Week. We had Shaq on Shark Week. It was all type of stuff going on. Naked and Afraid. Anybody check out Naked and Afraid? That is in fact real. The newsletter will in fact greet you once you scroll down on the Discovery website. Yes, it is. Discovery.com. Shark Week's most intense encounters. These are all amongst the popular shows. The Daily Bite. 30 Sharks of Shark Week. You might want to check out Discovery Go. That is in fact the app if you don't already have it. Don't whine and complain about the commercials to me. We all know. The Faces of Shark Week. These are all good things. There's in fact let me scroll back down. Let me scroll back up. There's in fact the schedule pertaining to the shows and all that other stuff. Yes, it is. Discovery likes to go live right here on YouTube. Yes, that's in fact a proven fact. Exclusive video. This shows right here. Deadliest Catch. Naked and Afraid, Savage. Deadliest Catch, Deeper Dives. You got Street Outlaws, Crash Course, American Chopper. Deadliest Catch, Greenhorn. Worst Car Ever. The Ballad of Parker and Todd. You might want to check that out. That's on some. Oh, Killing Fields. Remember I mentioned that one day? When I was going to go delve all in deep and give it all away. Something you should never do. In the preview, I'm saying. Should allow the viewer to tune in instead of giving it all away. It would in fact present to you on last night. You want to in fact click on that as well. And yet I ain't. That ain't to say I ain't got time, but I'm just saying I'm about to sign off, right? Recommended for you, Shark Week. Who out there loves Shark Week? It's some people, let me tell you, that would in fact dig in the dirt, as in going in where there is no dirt, playing with a shark. Yeah, all that. Fin frenzy. DVDs, oh brothers, unlocked episodes for you. Show schedules and all that sits right above. As in, they can be accessed and found if you're looking for that sort of thing. I can't take you by hand and everything, showing you where to go. Show schedules, right there. Whatever you scroll over gets lit up to show you what. As in what you're looking for. So yeah, I think that's all to be said by now. For now, I'm going to in fact be back, and yet I am, and I should. I will, and I would. Does that or does that not rhyme? I think it does. And I'm gone.